Hi, good afternoon, good morning. My name is Jim Sinai, and welcome to Salesforce Live here at Dreamforce Day 2. What an amazing day. We're getting ramped up for Mark's big keynote in just about an hour. And I'm really excited to have a great customer profile, a great partner profile here. My role at Salesforce is to look after AppExchange marketing, and one of our great AppExchange partners is here with us today, Pierre Naudet, the CEO of nCino, and Jonathan Rowe, the Director of Marketing for nCino. Gentlemen, welcome to Salesforce Live.
Thank you, Jim. Nice to be here.
So, I know of nCino because I work with you guys a lot, but for all the people watching, what is nCino?
You know, nCino is the first global ERP system for banking ever developed. Think about how factories run and measure everything from end to end.
Yeah.
In banks, there's lots of manual processes, dislocated systems, each running their own thing. And we are actually going to use the Force.com platform to tie all of this together and provide an operating model for banks second to none.
And why are you guys the company that can do this? Your origin story is quickly, you came out of a bank, right?
You know, the great news is there's a very entrepreneurial bank, Live Oak Bank in Wilmington, North Carolina, who actually built the software in-house for themselves use since 2009. And in 2012, they decided we can take this platform out and make it universally available to banks. And that's the background. So it truly is a system built by bankers for bankers.
Yeah. And now, why is now the right time to do that, to have this business? There's a huge revolution going on in technology, and you would think that banks would be on the forefront of that, but yet I still have to do a lot of my banking very manually and as a retail person, and I'm sure it's the same with commercial. So what's shifting in the world of banking that's opening up this amazing opportunity for nCino?
You know, I think the operating model and the need for speed is actually driving this change, okay? Plus the availability of technology.
Yeah.
So this kind of technology wasn't available in the past, so people used enterprise models. Well, now we've got the speed, the development speed we can do this with, the deployment speed, but also then the social mobile aspect of this. So that for the first time, you see a generation of people coming up that wants to interact in a different way with banks.
Yeah.
And so my favorite question to CEOs of banks is, do you think your child or your grandchild wants to bank with your bank and the way they interact? Realize branch visits has gone down from around 27 per year per customer in 1995 down to 2.7 now.
So that's one person going 2.7 times a year to a branch?
Exactly. They want to interact in a modern way, social mobile. And nCino is going to give all of that to them. Why not a video feed? Why not negotiate or discuss your banking needs through an iPad with a video or a voice feed, as well as signing documentation right there? There's no need to go to the branch anymore with this modern technology.
Yeah, I think, I just refinanced my home, and I think about all the paperwork that I had to go through. I had to meet a notary, and it was excruciating.
Well, and that's the fallacy of mobile banking. So mobile banking today is solving the transactional element. You can transfer money, look at your accounts,
deposit a check.
Yes. But we're taking that to the interactive, to the social mobile aspect, where I can literally take the brands, remove it, and start interacting with the bank through nCino and the Force.com platform.
Great. So when you think of innovation, and this is a key theme for your company, how do you weave innovation not into your product, but also your culture and ultimately into your customers? Because when we talk about customers, it's as software vendors, we have to have our customers be innovative. So how do you drive all that?
You know, it's interesting because innovation for us is technology, but for the bank, it's about processes and customer interaction. So it's literally a cultural shift and a cultural change for that institution of how they want to interact with the client and the modern face they're going to put in front of their customer to say, look, I'm that progressive institution that's going to minimize the time you come to spend in the bank with a very high touch model, but with modern technologies.
Yeah. And so when you think about like some of the future use cases that you see banks adopting, like right now, we can deposit a check from a phone, we can transfer money, but how is it going to change? If I don't go into a branch, what do bankers do? It's not like they just go away.
Jim, this is what makes me so excited about this, okay? The very first one is a customer portal. What a simple concept. When you apply for a loan, just go on the portal, drag and drop all your documentation here. click a button and speak to your loan team, understand exactly the process. Where are you? Because the borrower only has two things in mind. Am I approved for the loan, and when can I get my money?
And how quickly, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's your weapon in a bank, is the speed you can go to market with. But the second element I think is very important. We're now thinking so far out. So let's look at Uber and how Uber is transforming the taxi business and delivery business. Well, we're thinking in banking. We're going to come out with an app early next year that's going to be like Uber for banking. Why can't you call your banker to come and visit you?
On-demand banking.
Exactly. It's on-demand banking. It's looking at the specialist like the insurance guy to come visit you. What about the wealth management guy to come to your place of business? But then also cash collections. Think about that very simplistic concept of putting somebody in a car today with a bag of cash to drive to the bank to stand in line for an hour, okay? Yeah. What excites me is we've got this whole infrastructure of cash collection and ATM replenishment.
Yep.
Let's utilize that infrastructure and allow the customer of the bank to order the cash collection into their workplace.
And so what you're doing is providing the software that's going to enable all of that. You're not going to do the cash collection, but you're going to drive the technology behind that.
Yes, but can you imagine the billboard you can put up in town to say, the bank will come to you, the doctor is back at home, coming to see you, you're the center.
It's like turning it back to the way business should be, the way it used to be.
Yes, let's make the customer special.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of customers, I'm glad you brought customers up. When we talk about at Salesforce, often we profile our customers, and you guys have a bunch of great customers, and you wanted to talk about one of them here today on Salesforce Live. So, Jonathan, I want to turn to you and give us a sense. You've been running marketing and you've been helping tell the stories of your customers. What are customers doing with nCino today, and help us understand who they are?
No, it's a great question. So, banks are dealing with a lot of different sort of dynamics at the moment. There's a lot of regulatory compliance issues that banks have to deal with that are constantly changing. And so the easier you can make that burden, if you will, on them, the better they can then use those resources that previously have been allocated to things like compliance to serve the customers and to be more efficient and effective. And so I think one of the things that we're going to show now is one of our videos that kind of showcases one of our customers, Square One.
So yeah, tee up Square One. Who are they?
So Square One is about a $2.3 billion bank. They're based out of Raleigh, North Carolina, and they have about 12 branches throughout the U.S. And they're a little bit of a different bank model. So we talk about sort of transformative technology, and so they primarily lend to small businesses and startups. And so I think their use of nCino and how it's really enabled them to achieve their goals around efficiency, profitability, and regulatory compliance really speaks volumes. I think that's what we're about to see.
Okay, well let's take a look at the video.
My name is Brad Turner, and I am currently the head of SBA lending for Square One Bank. When I came aboard in 2012, the bank was looking for a way to manage the credit business through one platform. What made nCino stand out was, number one, its ease of use. We've been able to customize it very easily to meet our specific needs. The nCino support so far has been very good, and we just see it as a platform that will allow us to make changes as our business changes over time.
The question throughout the project that we'll constantly ask is, why do you do it that way? Sometimes we'll find customers have processes that they've built around software inefficiencies, and by coming in with a new solution that can be tailored to their unique business model, we find that we can remove a lot of those inefficiencies.
The training on the nCino system was terrific here at Square One. The nCino folks came and spent weeks with us going through live cases that we actually had all the members of the team doing their piece. And during the training, there were questions that were brought up that the nCino folks were just terrific, saying, let us take that back and see if we can't make that better. And they were able to do that during the training. So at the end of the time, we had a system that we were very comfortable with and felt very well trained on.
One specific instance that has really helped us realize nCino is the solution for us is after we implemented the platform, we decided we needed to better report on our insurance requirements. Within 90 days, we were able to go through our entire portfolio, detail all of our collateral and insurance in the platform, and now we've got an individual that is able to easily monitor our insurance requirements. And I've got a dashboard that I can see basically every day to know where we stand with regards to expired policies. Just one of the recent things we've been able to do with nCino that would not have been possible in any of our other systems.
When I'm able to, 60 days out, let a borrower know that your insurance documents are about to expire, that small business owner is able to plan. So I think nCino helps me build relationships with my borrowers.
I have over 4 decades of banking experience, and I have gone through a lot of different systems. And I will tell you that the nCino process has been revolutionary in the way that we've been able to conduct our business.
What a great story that is, that Square One Bank story. And Jonathan, which struck me in that whole story was this line that he said, within 90 days we were able to roll this out. And when you think about, you describe this, Pierre, as a ERP, and you think about rolling out ERPs, I hear years and decades to roll these things out. What does it mean for Square One to put a new system in place in 90 days?
Yeah, I'd probably use the word transformative, Jim, because you got to understand, banks have traditionally expected implementations of software to take years, from the time that they start sort of putting it into the bank to the time they actually start using it. And so if you think of, if you're a leader or an employee of that bank, to have the resources and the time to be spending just to get something implemented before you can even get value from it, we're totally changing that model. So you're now taking software in 30 days and bringing it live to the bank. And not only that, but you're customizing it for that bank's specific loan processes and for best practices.
Yeah.
And so, the other thing maybe I'll just quickly add is then you add the user interface.
Yeah.
The fact that a lot of traditional systems in banking have been built by software developers who have never processed a loan, have never taken a deposit, have never managed a bank branch. And so with nCino, more than half of our employees are former bankers. And so what you end up with is a system and an interface that's very intuitive, and so bankers are able to pick it up very quickly.
And it follows the workflow of the banker, which is the hardest thing of any application, is nailing that UX. And this sort of speaks to what you were saying earlier about rolling out. One of the amazing things that the cloud delivers in this cloud-based technology is that even once you've rolled it out, it's easy to change. Like, you're not hard coding their business in a sense that if you guys as nCino need to push upgrades, you can push upgrades. If they need to extend it or change it, they can make it. And they're not locked into this, well, this is what we bought, and so this is all we get.
And that agility is not only helping the bank, it's helping nCino as well. And while we have that agility, every customer today runs exactly the same level of software.
Yeah.
And that's where the magic sits. That we don't have multiple customers on different levels of software and an upgrade issue. We upgrade you 3 times a year, all on the same level of software.
The core value.
However, I've got that agility to make changes for you on the fly.
Yeah.
So I think is where the magic is.
Because you got to think, banking at the end of the day is about relationships. And one of the things I think, and Pierre was alluding to it, we almost bring fun back to banking. And so we empower employees at the banks to be able to do their jobs more effectively and more efficiently, and they can serve customers better and close loans quicker. And ultimately that benefits the stakeholders and shareholders.
More time at the golf course building relationships, less time in the office doing paperwork.
That's right.
Exactly. That's that great banker swing you see in the golf course.
I wish I had that swing. So when we talk about finance and banking, it's a heavily regulated industry. And how does nCino think about how to navigating regulations and making sure that they're delivering compliant software, and maybe talk about a little about how Salesforce has helped you guys in that journey?
Well, again, the power of this workflow in this platform is that everything is measured.
Yeah.
Every person who logs into that loan, that is actually recorded at that time and time-stamped. So in compliance, one of the biggest things is traceability, understanding who changed something, what the decision was made upon, okay? And that level of traceability throughout the software is really making the bank a lot more compliant. You can approve a loan with a few exceptions, but it's noted now. You can't move it forward because the system will block you unless you note why you're willing to make that exception. So it truly helps them with compliance, with security, with who touched the loan, who made the decision, but more than that, you can actually use business intelligence to understand your workforce. What is the quality of those decisions? Which, by the way, the regulators come right back around to make sure you've got a competent, trained workforce.
Yeah, and so you touched on 2 things. One, the ability to audit and track, and I would give a quick plug to our platform product team. They just released a new feature called App Monitoring, which helps increase the ability to track all of that stuff on top of what you guys provide. but also you touched on business intelligence, and that's maybe a good topic for us to circle home on, which is Salesforce is announcing the new Wave Analytics Cloud, which is democratizing analytics and making analytics that the rest of us can use. What vision do you see of how you're going to pull that into your product and make it available for customers? And maybe Jonathan, take that.
Sure. So I think one of the holy grails in banking has been what's called a single source of truth. And so banks have traditionally had all these point solutions, have had the bank core, and they have all these different systems that don't actually necessarily integrate together. And so they're going here for data, there for data, and ultimately they pull out data, put it in a spreadsheet, and try to cobble it together. nCino becomes the system that truly operates a bank where all the data feeds into. We sit on top of the core, we sit on top of the transactional systems that Pierre alluded to, and so you finally have a full view of where the bank's been, where the bank is today, and where the bank is going, and how much that enables better decision making around employees, resources, capital, and serving your customers is just amazing.
Great. And when you saw the analytics, you saw the preview of it, what went off in your head, Pierre?
Well, to me, it opens up, like you say, democratizing analytics. It opens up for us. So think about this, if we have hundreds of banks using nCino, all that data is in that system, and the benefit we're going to start bringing to our customer banks are that we can slice and dice this data and give industry data back to them, so they can start measuring themselves against their peers. And that level of analytics is priceless, because you want to have that insight in your competitive nature, how you compete, where you can improve, etc. So I think it's really bringing another dimension to this whole platform and the product.
I think it's going to start a whole second revolution, and I think when you look at how much is spent on data right now, and then the only people that can use it are the data analysts. And as a CEO, like, what does it mean to have on your phone to have your business with all your sales data from Salesforce and your custom apps built, and also now your dashboards? Like, do you feel like you're going to move the business faster with all these technologies?
Jim, there's one thing we haven't even touched on, because we take that for granted on this platform, which is mobility. I hear many of my competitors talk about, well, it's now web-enabled or it's mobile. Realize that's an effort for them. To me, mobility is out the box.
It's like day one.
Everything we touch on Force.com is mobile enabled. So to us it's so natural, we forget to mention that. So you pair the mobile aspect with the analytics aspect, plus the CRM or Sales Cloud aspect, and all of a sudden I can sit in front of a client, the banker can sit in front of the client and understand a full 360 view of their relationship, understand the analysis of that client's profitability to the bank, all from an iPad in my car. That transformed banking. That's what excites us.
So that's my favorite part of the platform too, is this mobility aspect, because I want to run my business from my phone. I don't want to tote around a laptop. When I think about, I want to transition for a minute and talk about the company nCino, because it's a great story, and we'll sort of end on this topic, which is, when you think of, you guys are based in Wilmington, North Carolina. It's not Wilmington, Delaware, where all the banks are. How do you guys compete on a global scale, being like, and how do you project you guys do a great job of making yourself bigger than you are.
It's very interesting.
Is this your marketer that does it?
Exactly. The marketers should get most of the credit. But I will tell you that number one, the quality of life in Wilmington is phenomenal. But I would tell you, in the vertical industries, the best thing you can do is to line yourself as closely as you can where the domain expertise sits. And our relationship with Live Oak Bank and the access to domain experts is tremendous for us. And that's why we started this in Wilmington, because we truly have the long view on this company. We want to build a company in Wilmington that is second to none, that takes care of its people, high quality of life, right by the beach. I mean, so we're actually attracting some significant talent to Wilmington, and we like what we do.
We're trying to get out of the New York City rat race.
Absolutely.
That's great. Jonathan, any final to add?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, and everything at the company, a lot of companies traditionally, they'll go advertising and say, here's what our product does, and they'll put up all these signs and banners. What nCino is about is having a conversation with the bank and with the leaders of the bank to understand what are their business needs. You know, how are they dealing with regulatory compliance? How are they managing the competition that they're facing? And where is the bank going? And so I think because we have a phenomenal team of ex-bankers, of technologists, a partnership with Salesforce, when you walk into a bank and you're having that conversation, it becomes a partnership and a journey, as you saw with Square One and with all of our other customers that we're going on.
Great, thank you so much, Jonathan Rowe, Director of Marketing for nCino, and Pierre Naudet, the CEO of nCino. And if you don't know nCino, you should go to appexchange.com, check out their listing. They're a great partner for Salesforce and really transforming the banking world. So thank you, and thanks for tuning in, and thanks for watching Salesforce Live. Stay tuned, the Mark's keynote's coming up in just a little bit, and there's going to be some killer announcements. So thank you so much.